I made this egusi soup in a different way using different vegetable and different protein. I added onions to my protein. For the protein, I'm using chicken and turkey. After adding the onions, I added seasoning. After adding the seasoning, I added pepper just to give it a little spicy taste. Then after adding the pepper, I went ahead to mix everything together. Make sure to mix very well. After mixing together and I put it to cook, then I went ahead to prepare my fish. This is called mackerel fish, which we call Titus fish in Nigeria. So for this fish, I'll be air frying the fish to get dry, just like the way we do our smoked fish. So I'm getting this fish prepared to be air fried in our air fryer. Then I went ahead to prepare tomato, pepper and onions. So I blended the tomato, pepper and onions. After blending, I set that aside and went ahead to check the protein. At this point, the protein is ready. Then I also prepared my egusi. For the egusi, I'm using the meat water, like the meat stock, to mix the egusi. You can use regular water to mix it, but I prefer to use the meat stock because it gives it very good flavor. So it's just like the meat stock is penetrating into the egusi. Now the palm oil is ready. I went ahead to add my chopped onions and fry for a bit. Then I added the mixed egusi to fry. At this point, you have to reduce your heat to medium heat so that the egusi will not get burnt while frying the egusi. After adding the egusi paste, I had to mix it and allow it to fry for some time. You have to continue mixing it because once you leave it, it might get burnt. So I had to mix for some period of time. Now you can see that the egusi is frying. So you continue mixing. When it starts to change, like you will see in this video, when it's ready, it starts to form. Now it's frying so well, but make sure that your heat is on a medium heat to avoid it from burning. Now give it a very good mix. I have to stir, stir and stir for some period of time. So as I'm stirring it, which means I'm frying the egusi, and this helps the egusi soup to taste so well and makes the egusi to look very nice. Now I have to keep on stirring this egusi for up to 5 to 10 minutes to make it get dry. Once it's dry, which means the egusi is ready. Now back to the reason why I said I made this egusi soup in a different way. Normally in Nigeria, we are used to making egusi soup with cow meat, like cow beef or goat meat. But for this recipe, I used chicken and turkey, which I find a bit different. Then also we use different vegetable back in Nigeria, like ugu leaf, scent leaf, uzuza leaf or green leaf. But for this recipe, I used a different leaf. So let's get back to our cooking. Now the egusi is ready and I added the blended pepper mix. So at this point, you can just give it a gentle mix, or better still, just cover it and allow it to steam for some time before mixing. So while adding this pepper mix to the egusi soup, I just give a cover and allow it to steam. Now I open my pot and it's ready. So I had to mix it, because why I covered it is to allow the tomato to steam for some time, or you can use a different method of boiling the tomato separately then adding it. But I added, for this method, I added my tomato and pepper mix directly. Then I added my meat stock the seasoning, then crayfish, blended crayfish. After adding the crayfish, I give it a mix. You can choose to skip the crayfish part, it all depends, but I add crayfish to it because it gives it more flavor. Then after mixing it for some period of time, this is the point where you have to mix it so well, because I covered it earlier to steam, so now I have to mix it well so that the ingredients can sit well. Then I added crayfish again and salt. You can put crayfish according to your taste and salt according to your taste. Then the next thing I added was vegetable. Now this vegetable is a different kind of vegetable. This is a kale leaf. So this kale leaf is very nutritious and it's also good while preparing your egusi soup. Now I use kale leaf because this is the leaf I can find where I stay. I would say that this kale leaf is just similar to ugu leaf. So this kale leaf serve the same purpose as the ugu leaf. It has the same kind of texture with the ugu leaf and it's very nutritious. So this is the leaf I'm using. That is why I said I made my egusi soup in a different way. So after adding this kale leaf, I will give it a good mix because this leaf is kind of a bit hard, but not too hard, just like the ugu leaf. So I will allow it to steam for some time, for just like a minute. Now I have another leaf that I'll be adding to this egusi soup, which also made me to say that this soup is different from the egusi soup we are familiar with. So the next leaf I'm adding is the spinach. Now, spinach is also very nutritious and healthy for the body. So, and spinach is also the vegetable that I can find where I live. So, I'm using the kale leaf and the spinach to prepare this egusi soup, and the taste was so nice. So, after adding the spinach, I went ahead to give it a good mix. Spinach does not take time to steam. Then after adding the spinach, I added crayfish, salt, and some seasoning. I like doing this for the last stage because it gives the soup more flavor. So I always add my ingredients bit by bit, so that the finishing stage I add the remaining part of the ingredients and give it a very good mix. After making sure that it is well mixed, well combined into the soup, then I cover and allow it to steam for a minute or two, because the vegetables does not take time to steam and it's not good to overcook your vegetable. Now I went in with my protein. Now you can see that the smoked fish is ready. The fish that I put in the air fryer is just like the normal smoked fish. After adding my ingredients, at this point I've reduced my heat to the very low. It's just like I've turned off my stove. Then I give the soup a bit mix. After mixing it, the soup is ready. This soup tastes so nice, just like the regular Nigerian Egusi soup. You won't know that I used a different vegetable or I used a different protein. The soup came out so well. Let me know in the comment section if you would like to try this recipe. Thank you. And what swallow would you like to have this delicious egusi soup with? For me, I had this soup with wheat swallow. Thanks for watching this video, and please don't forget to like the video, share and subscribe. Bye. See you in my next one.